hands only for 1 week.
1 whole week of drawing hands. It's gonna be glorious.
It's gonna be very hands-on.
And it's gonna be filled with lots of hand puns, I guess, which doesn't make me very
They
happy.
come to mind very handily.
Nah. They're just falling in the palm of your hand.
Yes, within my grasp.
Ah, that was a good one. We're drawing hands for a whole week.
So to prepare, we've both prepared a hand or 2 or 4.
4 in the case of her, 1 in the case of me.
Yes.
So these are our kind of starting points. Here's my hand to start off.
That's awesome. That's such a good hand to start off with. That's gonna be embarrassing a week from now when you're like, I couldn't top this.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Just kidding.
So-
I mean that in the nicest way. Like, it's a good hand, not I couldn't improve.
Okay, yeah, sure, thanks. So I started off with just a sketch, and then I threw some paint on it.
It's a beautiful hand. I love it.
Well, I'm going to try redrawing this hand 1 week from now with hopefully a lot of hands in between. Let's check
Yes.
out your hands.
So these are my 4 little cute hand sketches. I did these.
So you went quantity.
Yeah, I did these at Starbucks today. As I was sitting there listening to the typical Starbucks chatter. One man.
I really like the hands that you have here on the left. Those are very nice.
Thank you. Those actually are probably the best ones. The others are a little bit more like, I'm ready to wrap up and get out of here.
That's fair. The whole point of doing this is to show kind of our starting point.
Exactly. And, I was like, let me set the bar a little low.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
Why didn't I do that?
That's what you do. You go in, you say, I don't know what I'm doing here, and then you blow them out of the water a week from now, and you're just like, oh, Michelangelo.
So 1 week from today, we're gonna come back, we're gonna record again, show off all the hands we made, and redraw the first hand that we did, kind of as a comparison point.
Do you have a minimum amount of time you intend to spend per day?
Yeah, 24 hours. I'm just gonna do nothing but draw hands for the next week.
That wasn't a serious answer, but it was a serious question. That was disrespectful.
So disrespectful. How long are you going to spend drawing?
I don't know.
Exactly, I don't know.
I have a job.
I have a job. I am going to spend as long as I can drawing hands.
Me too.
Well, I guess we should get to it.
Let's do it.
All right, we'll see you in 1 week.
I'll shake on it.
We'll shake on it. Shake hands on hands.
Shaking hands on hands. Fading out slowly.
Fading very slowly.
Fading.
It's probably fading out. I'll remember to edit.
Yes, fading away.
Mm-hmm.
And we're back from drawing hands for 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 days.
That's how I count to 7
That's
too.
how I count to 7. It gets you where you need to. I mean, the week just flies by.
It just flies by. 5 and 6, never heard of them.
Who knows?
So Abby, we drew lots of hands. Da, 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 da.
Da.
Wow, look at all those hands
Wow.
that are probably.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I totally. Oh my god. Oh.
So, Ben, we drew hands for 7 days. And I have just one question for you.
What's that?
What surprised you? What was the big surprise?
Ooh.
When you opened the box that they shipped the hands to you in,
Yeah.
the severed hands,
Ooh.
what did you open up and say, that is a big surprise about hands that I didn't know about?
So,
And drawing
by the end of my 7 days of drawing hands and looking back over them, I didn't realize at the time, but looking back, I realized that my line work has improved a ton.
Oh my gosh.
So here is line work of my hand right now. Ooh, ah.
Oh, wow.
And here it is 1 year ago.
So what's-
Womp, womp.
Yeah. Wow. You know what's funny about that is over the course of our digital art journey, Ben has turned to me and said, I don't think lines are necessary. I think painting is where it's at. Lines, no. Meanwhile, he was just not good at lines, and he just didn't like not being good at things.
So this is somewhat true because I did take a moment to step away.
100% true.
I took a moment to step away and I really worked on lines for like several months.
You did. To your credit, you didn't look at lines and actually say, I'm never going to work on those. You did say painting is where it's at. But
'Cause it
then
is.
your response to that was quietly to actually work on lines really hard and get good at lines, which I think is a very admirable trait.
Okay, my question to you, Abby, did anything surprise you on our hand drawing journey over the last week?
So my surprise came in finding that with a simple, flowy, just straighter lines, I got results I liked better. Yeah.
As opposed to what?
So I am a digital person who really struggles with muddiness. I see every little tint and change and I want to paint it in with a brush stroke, and the end result is not masterful.
Simplify, Thoreau, simplify.
Amateur. The hand that I drew that I liked the most, in hindsight, was the simplest one.
Ooh,
that I simplified the most on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that actually looks really nice. But
that is surprising.
It is surprising. There's other things too. What were your key takeaways from this whole exercise? Not something that surprised you.
Key takeaways.
But just the basic list of this is what I'd like to do more of moving forward.
I had a few different ideas and thoughts of things that surprised me and some other kind of big brain blast takeaways, but I think I could condense it all into the idea of just going with the flow.
Ooh, elaborate on that.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it would be condensed down to the idea of not thinking too hard about it. You were kind of talking about simplifying and not adding all these different splotches of color that you see. And I feel like I sometimes get in this mindset where I'm hyper-focused on trying to make everything perfect, especially early on. Whereas instead, if I just kind of let Jesus take the wheel a little bit,
sure.
just kind of let my habits do their thing, let happy accidents happen a little there.
Lean into Ben's style.
Yeah, I feel like it works because it's the stuff that I like. It's all the stuff that I've habitualized. That is something that I'm trying to lean more into.
I like what you say about that, leaning into your style. Now, when you say to me oh, the classic Abby style, I kind of cringe inside because I'm like, oh, I should be getting away from that. I should be getting better.
It's a through line.
It's a through line. Yeah, I like that. That is a very good takeaway. Just letting your own art personality shine forth and embracing that about yourself. That's the way you create art. It's going to have a good result because it looks like it was made by you.
Exactly. You're the only one who can make art like you, so you should let yourself do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Abby, what were your key takeaways, or if you had one big one?
As somebody who has a different time windows to manage.
For those that don't know, Abby's a nurse who works 12-hour shifts occasionally, so her schedule's...
Yeah, it can be really hard. And I do congratulate myself on the days where I'm working a lot, where I'm able to slip in a little bit of drawing. I think that's a really nice piece, but how much more beneficial it is to be able to draw for a certain block of time. By the end of that block of longer time.
Okay.
By the end of that block of time, my results are much more appealing. I get different results that I like a lot better.
Why do you think that is?
There's something to be said for warming up, right? I think that there's a reason historically people do that. It's not just, oh, I just don't know what to draw yet. There's a reason.
Just like exercise.
Yeah. Let's say I had a big block of time to draw on this one day and I drew all these hands, or at least half of them in this one block. And then the other day, a few days later, and I thought, well, that's fine. I'm so good at hands now. I'm just gonna get this amazing result because I've been drawing hands.
But you didn't.
But I didn't quite get the same results. It was I went back in time a little bit. If framed incorrectly, would be a little discouraging.
Now, Abby, the real question is, over the last week, did you improve?
I have some thoughts.
Oh no.
Yes, but also no. I think I'm still looking back. I don't feel that I'm that much monumentally different than how I was before.
It's 7 days.
But I also feel like I couldn't help but improve somewhat. I think hair growth. You run into somebody a few months later who hasn't seen you in a while, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, your hair has grown so much."
But to you, it's
it's
minimal.
so incremental.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then you're like,
that's a good analogy.
God. What about you though?
I agree. Big picture, I feel like if you looked at it, you would say, no, I didn't improve, because you can look at day 3, I feel like was my best hand. It was a really cool one with the hand on the book.
Oh, I love that one.
But you compare that to maybe day 5 or 6, you're like, well, he didn't incrementally improve. But I feel like I improved on little things that I notice, especially in my process where I'm I can do this so much better and faster now. It's tiny things that, I feel like if you're me, you would notice. but as just a passerby, you might not.
Some hands are like in a simple pose and you're like, oh, I'm so good at hands.
Yeah.
And then there's hands
like,
that are
yeah.
like, oh.
Or like, you know, there's crazy foreshortening.
I think I drew one that was like this, like bent against the page. And that, I drew it the first day and later. And I was like, I don't like it each time. It's so bad.
Hands are hard. They're hard to draw. They're second only to faces in my opinion. They're expressive. Yeah, but I enjoyed the experience. I had fun and I do feel like I improved.
Yes, I also very much enjoyed this. It's so nice to have direction in our work when we sit down for the day. It's not, what do I want to draw today? It's like, I'm drawing hands this week. And I know what to draw when I sit down. So that was really fun too. I always like that accountability factor of what we do.
And if you want some accountability, check out Brush Club at the link below in the description.
Brush Club sends a new pack of brushes every month to your inbox. This is on par with the level of inspiration I get from browsing the art aisle at the craft store and coming home with like new brushes and paint, same effect.
And Abby, when I go and grab all those tons of art supplies, how much are those gonna cost me?
Millions.
Millions? Only if there was
$5.
What? $5
For inspiration. Is there too great a price?
No price is too great, and $5 is very reasonable, I think. And if you're very reasonable, click that subscribe button, and this is the part where we say
Goodbye.
Goomba. So Abby went to her first live figure drawing session, and I went with her.
Yeah.
And here's how our drawings turned out. Ooh. Nudity warning.
If you stuck around this long, you get a big reward.
You might want to hold yours up. It might not be actually on the screen. It might not.
Whose is better?
Whose is better? Vote below.